families, and welcome to our weekly VODCAST. I apologize for it being a day late, but nonetheless, here we are, ready to rock and roll. Boy, do we have one busy week underway in Room 21. Not only do we have an action-packed week, every second of the day we're really working on a lot of new concepts across math, writing, reading, science, vocabulary everywhere. We're working on new concepts, but we are also presenting our DARE essays and a lot of other interesting things. So tomorrow, the students will be presenting their DARE essays to Deputy Scoggins. Basically, they'll be reading them in front of the class. I'll be grading them for an oral presentation grade, and I'll be grading their writing later this week based on their written expression, their usage and mechanics, and all of those things. Every student was sent home tonight with their DARE essay, which I told them they probably want to practice a few times, maybe in front of a mirror, in front of someone, because they are being graded for the oral presentation part of it, and they want to make sure they have that down quite well. Also tomorrow, the students will be taking the Word Masters competition. About 2 months ago, I decided just to enter the whole class in the competition, and we've been working on the words ever since. I put the Quizlet online. We work on the words every single day in class, and tomorrow we'll take that competition, and the students will be scored, and the top students from 5th grade will be announced on the announcements, and they get points to go towards ribbons and medals at the end of the year. So I'm really excited to see that. Just a reminder that the Word Master Quizlet is still on our Class Fusion page if your son or daughter would like to practice there. Also tomorrow, Tiger Club starts. If your son or daughter signed up for that, goes till 5:15, Tuesday and Thursday for the next 3 weeks. And today, if your son or daughter was invited for Tiger Tutoring, the invitations were sent home today. And those need to be back as soon as possible, preferably tomorrow, just so that we can get the bus transportation and everything worked out for that. That starts in January, but we're trying to get everything hammered out now before winter break. Okay, now I'm going to turn you away to the strategy session of the VODCAST for the week. As always, let me know, are things helping, or is it too much, is it too little? Let me know how things are going so that I can help you a little bit more. I hope it's a very useful resource and have some fun learning some concepts that we're practicing in class. Okay, Rockstar family, so this week in math we're actually working on adding and subtracting decimals, and then we'll move into multiplying and dividing. As we talked about today in class, one of the really big keys with adding and subtracting decimals is simply to line up the places. What does that mean? Well, you take the decimal point, you line up each place value. So let me show you an example of one such case. Imagine that the three numbers on the screen right now are actually the amount that it has snowed. When I was back home in Pennsylvania, it had snowed quite a bit. So it snowed 3 42 inches, 9/10 inches, and 345 thousandths inches. Maybe we could say within a 3-day span. So when we're actually setting this up as a problem to solve, here's what we want to do. We want to take each of the numbers. We want to find out the sum. How many total inches did it snow? Lining up the decimal place is key. And I'm going to show you something really quickly here in a second that we do as well to kind of help us stay organized. Now, I've lined up each of my places, and as you notice, there's some blank spaces right in here, okay? And to keep track of that, those are simply zeros. So I'm going to draw those in. Okay, and then all that I really have to do is go through and add as a regular addition problem. For starting at the right, going left. So 2 plus 5 is 7, 4 plus 4 is 8, 9 plus 3 is 12, carry the 1, 1 plus 3 is 4. And my only other step I have to make sure of here is I have to drop this decimal point. So my final answer would be 4 287 thousandths inches. Okay, so that's really what we're looking at when we're talking about adding decimals. Subtracting decimals is the same way. You have to line up the places like we did here and go with them. We're going to try to do a lot of extending of this week because this is really a concept that the rock stars have been showing a lot of mastery with, so we're actually going to kind of extend that a little bit. Now, I'm going to take you all online and show you a couple things. So here I am at the Kate Waller-Baird Elementary website at our Class Fusion page, and if you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see a couple of things. And I want you to look at under the links first. You're going to find the link for DigitWiz. We've been really pushing this recently in class. All of the students have received usernames and passwords. Remember, the username is simply their first and last name, all lowercase, no spaces, and the password is just Rockstar. So here I'm going to actually sign in to my account and show you around a little bit if your student has not been using this at home already. They may have. The cool thing about this site, as I said, at Family Night and during the VODCAST last week, is really just the fact that the students have games that are catered to what their need, the facts that they need at home. So if I go under multiplication, I take the pre-test first, and then it's going to give me activities of things that I've showed, look, I need a little bit of work in. So maybe I'll go to the facts quiz. I just need to work on some of those basic facts. This would be a great area to visit on the DigitWiz site to work on those facts. So this is a great site to use. We're going to be using it at school. There's a free iPad app that can be downloaded if you have an iPad at home. Your child can also play it on there. I know we'll be playing it on the iPad a little bit here in school. This week in reading, we're going to spend one more week on summarizing. I'll be sending home a few things that you can check out. Basically, when we're summarizing, remember, we're just looking for what happened in a very short few sentences, detail. We're going to work on a few more strategies this week with our summarizing. I do, though, want to take you to two other things. First of all, this week in writing, we're looking at figurative language. And if you come here under Class News to the figurative language poems, I have found a site for you that you can use to look at some poetry with all of this figurative language. So today we talked about alliteration. Alliteration is when you have words that begin with the same sound or have the same sound within them. So an example would be Dunkin' Donuts. It starts with a D, first word, second word starts with a D, the same sound. Tomorrow we're going to talk about hyperbole. Hyperbole is basically stretching the truth. So here's one example of hyperbole on a snowy day. Everyone looks like snowmen. So much snow that it's like walking up to heaven. The fireplace is aglow like a giant's oven. Our cups of hot chocolate are piled to the roof of the house with marshmallows. We scurry in the house a bunch of hurried mice on a snow day. So that's an example. Obviously, the fireplace is aglow like a giant's oven. Our cups of hot chocolate are piled to the roof of the house. Obviously, those things aren't true, but it's stretching the truth a little bit. Why are we using figurative language? Basically, to add voice to our writing. The students are really working on a fun poem right now called a headline poem. Ask them about it. We're using a lot of magazine clippings and words, and we started it today and making great progress on it. I can't wait for them to be able to share that with you. So this is just a great site with all types of poems. I just happened to pull up the hyperbole examples, which we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Okay, and one final thing that I would like to take you to, if we can go back to the Kate Waller-Baird website. This week in science, we're talking about the rock cycle, different types of rocks. So what I actually did is I put an interactive activity here on the website. You can click under the links that really shows the rock cycle. You can click on the parts that are lit up, and my computer's taking a little bit to load tonight, I apologize, and then actually see how the different types of rocks form, and it explains it. It's going to be really great. We're going to use it in class a little bit. We'll use some other models as well, but this is a great way to study that rock cycle and really dig down to how are rocks formed, what are the different types of rocks, and so forth. Today we talked about fossils. We made some fossils, so make sure you ask your rock star about that. But this concludes the VODCAST for this week. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, do not hesitate to contact me. You are the best families in Stafford County. Have a great rest of the week, Rockstar families, and we'll see you later.